Hey sleepyhead, where have you been? The channel hasn't seen a new video in ages.
Oh, I don't know. I just lost track of time.
Maybe if you stopped listening to depressing music all the time, you'd feel a little more motivated.
I have to be depressed to get Killjoy back.
Ah. Come again?
The two of you came from somewhere inside me, right? So maybe Killjoy isn't dead. Maybe she's just cocooning it up somewhere, and soon she'll emerge as a beautiful death's head moth or something.
Embo, remember what a wise man once said? It does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live.
That was Dumbledore, wasn't it?
He's wise. Come on, get hyped up! We're reviewing a real diamond of a movie today.
Yeah, more like a diamond in the rough. Today's film is a request from my good friend Dino, who joins me regularly on the Horrific livestream, and you can find his channel link in the description below. What can I say about the 1982 film Basket Case? Well, it's a cult classic from writer-director Frank Henenlotter, who is primarily known for this film and its sequels, as well as the comedy horror Brain Damage. He seems to enjoy making films about unspeakable symbiotes.
It's well known that the film was made for practically nothing with a very small crew, and yet it oddly works. The grimy setting and post-production give the film a distinctive ambience, and showcase what can be achieved if a group of poor filmmakers put their mind to it. Film students, take note, because this is how you make a classic B-movie.
Yeah, whatever. Let's get into it. Okay, right into the opening title I see. Credits are presented in blood red as a man, Dr. Lifflander, walks out of his house and hears mysterious noises in the bushes. Oh wow, is this Predator Cam? He heads back inside and tries to call police just as the line is cut.
Oh God, no! No!
Stellar acting. You know, I half expect the lurking killer to be handing him pieces of furniture to block the door with, Scooby-Doo style. He fires his gun a few times at a strange shadowy lump, then gets eaten in, honestly, hilarious fashion. Next scene, our main character is walking his wooden basket down the street as a drug dealer markets his wares in a conspicuous manner.
I got acid, blotters, rainbows, window pane, speed downs, second off, volume, mescaline, THC. I've got some good cocaine.
White pussy, black pussy, Spanish pussy, yellow pussy.
Tie sticks, methadone, Adderall, red, junk, morphine. What do you want, some girls? I got some nice girls. What the fuck is wrong with you anyway, man?
So off the bat, I'm getting kind of driller killer vibes. There's a lot of incidental characters wandering around swearing and grumbling to themselves, so get used to that.
I'd like a room.
For how long?
I'm not sure.
Immediately, the hotel manager is suspicious of the basket, but doesn't actually ask to inspect it.
What's in the basket?
By the way, you could make a drinking game out of the amount of times people ask what's in the basket in this movie, which is a surprising amount considering he's in this movie quite sporadically, and we have to wait until the 31-minute mark to get a good look at him. I suppose they're building it up as much as possible. In fact, I would be drinking along with you, but I don't really have anything. Except this. Water! Stay hydrated, my dudes. Well, that's just asking to get mugged. Also, according to IMDb, this was the entire budget for the movie. So that tells you something.
He's loaded!
So are you!
Our so-called protagonist gets some drive-by tourism info on his way up. I say that because we never see this woman again, really. She just gives him some information and then buggers off. I get the impression he's the innocent sort. Once inside the room, he talks to the something in the basket and even gives it something to eat. He left the foil on. And that's the file that belonged to the professor we saw in the opening. Interesting.
I love the sound effects for the thing in the basket. Monstrously OTT, but I guess that's the point.
One thing I notice is that Dwayne, his name is Dwayne, seems able to hear Basket Monster speaking to him, even though he's making no noise. This will probably make more sense later. But yeah, it's pretty obvious, at least to me, that these two are siblings, because nobody else can be that personally annoying.
No, I don't want to talk now. Go back to sleep. I'm not going to debate this. Now, good night.
And I say this as an annoying sibling. Nothing displeases my younger sister more than when I serenade her in Asda or bombard her with unfunny memes. This woman called Casey comes to Dwayne's door to warn him that the guy from the hotel lobby was peeking through his keyhole. The wad of cash has him interested, you see. I'm not sure if this woman is a prostitute or not, but she seems pretty friendly anyway.
Well, friendliness is part of the job.
Unless you're being rented out to Patrick Bateman, then you are as bored and disinterested as they come.
Don't you want to know what I do?
No. No, not really.
The next day, Dwayne goes out to stretch his legs and finds himself in a doctor's waiting room.
Hear that? Sounds like something grinding inside.
Bloody hell, look at the hair on this receptionist. Is that an 80s thing? That must be an 80s thing. That is a lot of hair. She could give most drag queens a run for their money. She lets him see Dr. Needleman without an appointment, and Dwayne stupidly gives her his name, then tries to take it back because he and Basket Monster are going to murder him. That's their thing.
First I got dizzy, then I couldn't breathe. Then my throat felt like it was on fire.
These side characters sure are given a lot of time to talk.
What's in the basket? Easter eggs?
The doc directs Dwayne to stand in the other room, and oh boy, look at that.
Getting back to what we were talking about before, I get off here tonight at 7. Hint, hint.
May I call you tomorrow?
Yay, he's got himself a date. She ends up giving him her phone number and address, which is wise. Yeah, now this film's getting Oh, it's just Dwayne at the movies. Someone steals his basket and has instant regrets.
Meanwhile, the doctor, whom has been allowed to live for now, recognizes Dwayne and attempts to contact some of his buddies.
That was delicious.
So are you.
Oh, Dwayne really gets around, doesn't he? Oh, that's not Dwayne. I could have sworn it was. And this lady is a doctor too, Dr. Judith Cutter. Needleman phones her about the death of Dr. Lifflander, the guy at the beginning, but she's not very interested and hangs up to continue her date with Bootleg Dwayne.
I like the background music too. The ominous xylophone is very much underappreciated in horror movies. Dwayne unleashes his brother just outside Dr. Needleman's office, in a building the receptionist has locked up for the night. This'll be fun.
He also blocks off the doorways before checking that he's alone, and we finally get a look at Basket Monster, aka Belial.
Okay, now that's not the most high-budget monster I've ever seen, but it's still great nonetheless. Its glassy eyes, sharp teeth, and deformed physique all seem to say, "Kill me!"
Yes, I can see how this thing might be traumatizing to first-time preteen viewers of this film. And for a budget of around $35,000, it could look a lot worse. The special effects are the biggest draw of the movie in a way. It reminded me a lot of Street Trash, which kind of blew its load early into the movie in terms of visual interest. Next day, the monster is left alone to watch TV while Dwayne heads out to his date with the receptionist in secret.
I don't see any reason why you need to come with me today. It's going to be dull, so I figured you'd have a better time here with this.
And one. Sit back and press the button. Get the picture? You will, with this remote-controlled colour TV.
Don't get mad or anything, but I really don't want to see the city. I just said that as an excuse to see you.
You want to do that line again, Dwayne?
Yeah, I just said that as an excuse.
I know an awful lot of guys, Dwayne. But you're different.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he is. Whoa. Alright, calm down, dude. I'm sorry your favorite X Factor contestant got eliminated, but this is not the way to take it. Oh, that is beautiful. That is just beautiful.
It is beautiful. Are you blind?
The hotel residents take notice of Belial's tantrum and they storm upstairs. Of course, he gets back into the basket just in time.
Well, no one came out of here. I've been standing here all the time, all the while it was being wrecked. Someone's got to be in here. Unless they climbed out the window, because this just doesn't make any sense. These things didn't get thrown around screaming. They couldn't have gotten out without me seeing them. I mean, I was
Good
the first one
lord,
here,
do these
and I've been
people
leaning
ever
right against
shut
the
up?
door and no.
This dude takes the opportunity to rob Dwayne and, well, you know what they say about cats and curiosity. Dwayne's spidey sense starts tingling and he runs back to his room.
You heard what they said? He killed Donovan! No! I don't want him killing you! Would you hold it a minute?
Whoop. Soon enough, a police officer rocks up to question Dwayne, who's been out all day. Good alibi.
What's in the basket?
What's in the basket? I imagine it would smell really weird by now. Like really sweaty with a hint of bile. Ugh, that's just how I imagine it. Belial is angry because he sensed that Dwayne was out with a girl. So he's jealous. Makes sense. I would abandon Belial as quick as I could, personally. Dwayne boy seems to love his bro, though, and, well, you've been watching this film, you get it. At the bar, Dwayne talks to his neighbor Casey rather candidly because he's full of the drink.
There's something else I've been dying to ask you.
I swear, if she asks what's in the basket...
My brother.
He reveals that they're conjoined twins, or used to be anyway.
He's deformed! A freak! He looks like a squashed octopus! Our mother died giving birth to us. He was attached to my right side.
Oh, he's getting melancholy drunk now. Been there. So yeah, because they were conjoined, they have a mental connection that allows Belial to communicate without words and sense what Dwayne is up to.
Since we've been separated, I can't do it anymore, but he can still do it to me. Sometimes he talks for hours and won't shut up.
Well, that describes most people in this movie, you included. We flash back to his father's tirade that such a thing was ever born and killed his wife in the process. He's pretty convincing and yet strangely melodramatic, both at the same time.
Then, after they tell me my wife died, after they tell me my child is a twisted lump of flesh, then she tells me I need 2 names for it.
Can I just say, I love speeches like this in horror movies. It adds a personal touch, informs the audience as to the monstrous nature of whatever it is, and foreshadows what is to come.
My little baby girl was a cinder when I found her, but this monster kid wasn't even singed. I knew he'd done it. I hit him with a tire iron and I split his face wide open.
My sister died in the back bedroom, and that's what she was. A dirty secret.
At the end, before he left, his hands were like claws. His eyes were just 2 bright little specks inside of these deep hollows.
We stay in the flashback for a long time, and it's odd because it's shot and paced much like the rest of the film. Most movies do something, even if it's in post-production, to indicate that a flashback is taking place. I don't need it to be in sepia or anything, just, interesting choice. What happens is, when the boys are 12, they're ambushed by the doctors, Needleman, Cutter, and Lifflander, and separated against their will. Also, they use this transition.
No! God, no! Help! No! Stop fighting, goddammit!
Oh, come on, those are butter knives. And they don't even knock him out properly first. This is causing me to suspend my suspension of disbelief. And what is this music now? Belial is thereafter kicked to the curb, quite literally, but Dwayne rescues him.
Dwayne! God damn it, Dwayne, if that's you down there, you better answer me!
I know you're probably in a lot of pain after the operation that tore you away from your brother, which should make it impossible for you to move around for a week, but hush up with that woodworking, will you? Oh my god. Silence! Beautiful silence! Was this before or after Hot Wheels was invented?
Yes, see how you like it.
The aunt agrees to cover for them and raise them both on her own, which is nice. Then she dies. Yep. His neighbour, who must have had to listen to this for a long time given the length of the flashback, gets Dwayne home safe with no further questions.
Hey, Brooks, forgetting something?
I wouldn't. Oh. Wait, where is he then? Her apartment, with an abundance of smiley faces, which, as we all know, were invented by Forrest Gump in the late 1970s. Oh no, that is sick! What kind of maniac sleeps on top of the covers? Oh no! Ew. And more ruckus. Belial is a panty thief, I see. Honestly, does he have any redeeming qualities? Turns out Cutter was a vet, just to add insult to injury. Ow, who cares? It's all the same parts, basically.
Another vet, Dr. Liftlander, operated on him upstate, unsuccessfully.
Dr. Liftlander?
Yes, you know him?
I'm not going to be threatened by some adolescent punk with a smoldering grudge unless you've grown something else you want to cut off.
All together now. What's in the bloody basket? That face says it all, really. Well then, job done. That's all the doctors successfully moided. Oh, I spoke too soon. Oh, no I didn't. Oh yeah, she exists. What's her name? Sharon. Lovely.
Dr. Needleman's been murdered. They found his body sometime last night.
I need to be with someone. I don't want to be alone.
The two decide to have hanky-panky, while his brother's right there in the room, and after her boss has been horribly belialed to death.
Take me, Dwayne.
Oh my God, what's that? Dwayne, let me out.
Dwayne! Open up!
Open up? What, you want back in that room? Oh, that's a new effect. Oh, do we have to see that? So Belial uses his shining to tell Dwayne he's headed for Sharon's room, and for some reason looks just like Dwayne in this sequence. So that's handy that she gave him her address. If I didn't know any better, I'd swear this was his first time touching a nipple. Belial is unable to have her in the way that he'd like, anatomically defunct, so ends up strangulating her instead.
Believe it or not, there is an entire chapter in the book Screening the Dark Side of Love about sexualizing violence in this film. Since Belial's separation from his brother, he has been emasculated in a very physical sense. He lashes out with his teeth and claws because it is the only form of penetration of which he is capable. The author goes on to state that during the brothers' separation, they undergo a resexing of sorts, as represented by the oval gashes on their new bodies, mimicking a menstruating vagina. Therefore, their adolescence and their newfound desire for women is changed and corrupted. You might argue that Belial represents the darker, seedier side of Dwayne's urges. Dwayne treats women with affection and restraint, Belial steals panties and violently gropes them. Their separation has, in short, had a profound effect on their ability to perform as males.
Interesting interpretation. Could it be possible that this is just a movie about a monster that eats people's faces?
You're just not looking hard enough.
Okay, back to the end of the movie.
No! God damn you! Damn you to hell!
Watching the actor fight with a basket is pretty hilarious. Fair play to him, he never half-asses his performance. And that right there is an image I will never forget till the end of my days, no matter how much water I drink. The two continue to fight and go careening out the window, presumably falling to their deaths.
What's that? Oh, girls, look at that. What is that? Oh, no. Oh, wait, where's my daddy's chair?
Where did all these people come from? And there you have it. That's your movie. It's almost Shakespearean in a way. For never was a movie of more trial than this of Dwayne Bradley and his Belial.
Basket Case is a unique horror exploitation movie that combines old-school creature effects with a compelling tale of revenge that really grabs the audience's attention. In spite of budgetary restrictions, it's clear that the filmmakers were trying very hard indeed, and gave us the demented, gory brilliance that would inform later works such as Brain Damage. There are also 2 sequels to get stuck into, which means they didn't die after all. Good news!
Okay, and as for the negatives,
Hey, who says we need to have negatives? You don't have to be the new Killjoy, dear Embo. Not everything needs to be balanced out. In fact, I hereby give this movie 8 jam sandwiches out of 10.
I don't know if I'd agree with that. I'd say this is the kind of film that has cult appeal and might be fun to watch with a group of your friends, but I just can't take it too seriously. I'm going to give it a 6.5.
All right. Now, are you done being depressed? Will you go back on the potion? Embo?
Unaware that I'm tearing you asunder. There's the thunder in our hearts, baby.
Hello?
So much hate for the ones we love. Tell me we both matter.
Looks like I'll have to start taking charge around here. Thank you again to Dino for your request. I am looking forward to making more reviews. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Cheerio! Cheerio! Cheerio!
You won't be unhappy.
Get 'em to swap our places. Be running up that road. Be running up that hill. Be running up.
Water! Oh, it got on my face.